Hey folks, thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Dr. Kat Schreier, founder of Water Citizen, creator of WaterPitch, and your host for today's video on what is a reverse pitch. Now, if you're watching this, it means you're one of two things. One, you are someone who is committed to being a reverse pitch presenter at our upcoming program, in which case, thank you. Your role is so critical. This is what sets us apart from the big mega tech events that have kind of like the startups in the corner, or the showcases and demo days and all those things where it's focused on the startups, but you don't want to hear from everyone else. Now, the other kind of person who is probably watching this video is someone who is thinking about coming. You haven't yet committed to doing a reverse pitch, but you want to know what this whole reverse pitch thing is about. So I'll explain everything in a minute, but first of all, I want to know generally what is WaterPitch. This is our third year doing it, so it's fairly new event on the scene. This is a high energy, high engagement event that empowers, showcases, and connects water startups with the investors, with the federal funders, with the clients, with the support programs. Our goal is for every startup to match with at least one potential investor, funder, client, or support program, either for what they need right now or for what they need in the future. Right? So either they are, looking for investors right now, for example, or they're just getting started or the earlier stage and they're looking at, who do I need to prepare for next? How do I prepare if I want to ultimately be in Xylem Innovation Labs, for example, right? Finally, our come from on this is that the startups are the heroes of the program. So everything that we do and everything that you do as a reverse pitch presenter is coming from that mindset of not just here's about us and how great we are, but how can we help startups to bring their creative innovations into the water space or into solving water challenges for everybody else, right? So we do that by putting startups in the center of the program. Everybody else is kind of built around them. And again, they're all helping the startups and connecting with the startups, but they're also connecting with each other. So, we deliberately bring in a range of people in all of our reverse pitch sessions so that they can have pipelines and pathways. So you might have some incubators or some investors that are more early stage and others are later stage, and they get to know each other so they can say, when you finish with our program, you want to go to this program, or you're not ready for our fund, but you might want to talk to these folks, and then when you're ready, come see us later, right? We are big on saying no to reverse pitches and pitches that are virtual, right? No pre-recording your sessions and then sending it to us. No telling us, oh, what, I can't be bothered to show up, but go ahead and play my video, right? So this is all about community building. This is all about connecting people with each other. We've got startups that are flying in from all over the place, from Europe, from California, from wherever. They want to meet you. So this is only available, the opportunity to pitch or a reverse pitch, the opportunity to get a virtual exhibit, we'll talk about that more later, is only available to those who are actually going to be presenting in the room. Now let's talk about our program. Big question we get all the time. What's your program? Okay, so first of all, we start out with prep day, and that starts in the afternoon. People have time to travel, get settled, check in their hotel, whatever. So you come from 1 to 5 p.m. We're going to have the opportunity for presentation coaching. And we've actually reserved the space that we are going to have the main event in. So you have a chance to get to know the space, to get out from behind your Zoom screen, to stand up in front of an audience, to use the AV, all that kind of stuff, right? We also have, in the other rooms at the space, we have clinics going on. So we've approached a lot of different folks, and we'll tell you more about that later, but folks who are going to present on everything from legal stuff to how to do get licenses from the government for tech transfer, to how to tell your story, all sorts of great clinics available depending on where you're at, as well as how to talk to policymakers. And then after that, by the way, we're going to be going to a presenters dinner. So if you don't get there in time for coaching and clinics, meet us at DC Water, and we are going to be going from there to the presenters dinner. Now the next day is pitch day. So don't drink too much at the presenter's dinner because you got to be ready bright and early in the morning. I think we're going to be able to start getting people in a little before 8 so we can start our program right at 8 a.m. And we're going to go straight through to 5:30. One of the things we really try to discourage, please don't pitch and run. Okay, you'll be able to see the full program on our website and on our app, but please understand that depending on changes in the program, we might have to move some people around. But we really don't want people to just say, oh, I'm just going to come in, give my 5-minute pitch and leave. Again, this is a matching event. We want you to stay in the room, try to talk to as many of these startups as possible, right? So the full day is going to be alternating sessions of pitches and reverse pitches after our grand opening. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a fantastic opening session. And then at the end of the day, we have all come back together for our closing session. We also have Best Pitch Awards. So throughout the day, people are going to get to vote, and you're going to be able to do this too. After every single startup pitch, there'll be a chance to click on a QR code and vote and actually give some feedback. And if you want, even put your contact information, say, hey, I love what you're doing. Please contact me, right? And then at the end of the day, there's going to be a reception. We have some of our startups are going to have exhibits on site. So, you'll have a chance to see all that, and that's fabulous. And then, again, we want you to stay as long as possible. If you can, stay overnight for Policy Day. So Policy Day, we kind of looked into doing this last year, and this year we're doing it a little more formally. We're actually planning to do a congressional briefing, although it looks like we're going to need a sponsor for that. It's free for a 501c3 like us, but you actually have to use the Capitol Hill caterers. So we got to figure out that. But in any case, we are going to help people to figure out while you're in town, if you want to talk to members of Congress and their staff, right? If you want to talk to the federal agencies, if you want to talk to folks at the embassies and the trade reps, their embassy row is right here in DC, and there's usually a trade rep person from that country in every single embassy, right? Lots of international groups, World Bank, IMF, everybody's big associations, they all have offices here. So if you want to meet with any of those folks, please take advantage of our location here in DC, and we would love to get you, help you get connected. And I will say that we do not, we are a 501c3, we do not lobby, and we do not teach you we don't tell you what to say. We're not going to tell you what position to take. We're not going to hand you a sheet and say, talk about this, right? You get to talk about whatever you want. We can help you understand, where's your federal nexus and what you're doing, for example, right? So anyway, okay, another question we get often is, who's our audience, right? Good question. Now, this is your opportunity as a reverse pitch presenter to present to a room full of practical problem solvers. These are not just, these are not academics that are kind of coming up with these pie in the sky ideas that aren't even going to be usable for another 20 years, right? It's not science fiction. And, it's also not going to be a lot of, these thought leader, serial career keynote types that are going to say lots of fluff and don't actually say anything. These are people who will say, okay, tell me your problem, I will fix it for you, right? So as startup founders, they have to do that. If they want to stay in business, they have to create solutions that work. So even if they're not currently working on your problem, they may come up with a great idea. Secondly, we have all these other innovation leaders in water and industry, usually for the reverse pitches from clients. It's not so much the general managers as it is the chief innovation officer or the head of operations or someone who's actually in the weeds, actually trying to figure out this stuff, right? Plus, we've got we've got all the people who are advising startups. So they also say, hey, I know we have a startup in our current accelerator who is exactly what you're looking for, right? And finally, at the end of each session, time permitting, we will be opening up not just for Q&A, but really discussion with the audience. So you might get questions about your pitch, or we might actually get into some of the issues that startups generally are facing when working with investors or funders or clients or accelerators, right? So who are our startups? Everybody, anybody who's doing any kind of water related stuff, all stages, all sectors, all solutions, right? So it's not just water and wastewater and global wash you see over here. It's also buildings. It's also emergency response, floods, hurricanes, fires. Remember you saw the planes that were like scooping up ocean water and dumping it on the fires in California. We've got hydropower, other types of energy and the water needs for that. Data centers, IT, agriculture, any kind of high water use, high water impact industry, ports and harbors, watershed management, aquatic habitat, residential, some direct to consumer folks. So it's really, a broad range, anybody who has some kind of water expertise. It also includes people who are serving the water sector, so it might be logistics, it might be data management, it might be workforce development, right? So, and then, we provide a welcoming environment for all founders and all funders. Now, obviously, there's certain words we're not supposed to use anymore about the types of startups and founders and funders, but, our point here is just really make this a welcoming environment, regardless of your background or anything else about you. We want to make everyone feel welcome. We want to make everyone feel comfortable. We want to make everyone feel part of the community. We have a lot of introverts in this space, and we really help to draw them out and include everybody, all ages, all stages, right? So, all right, now getting to creating your reverse pitch. What is the structure that you follow? And we can talk more about this. We have these virtual pitch prep and practice sessions if you have more questions, but I'm just going to go through generally what the structure is. So if you are an investor, if you are an accelerator incubator, if you're a funder, if you got a challenge, a prize, whatever, these sessions you're getting a chance to do a reverse pitch or an RP, and then we'll bring everyone up for a group discussion. So they're usually a little shorter. It's just like a quick one-liner on, what is your fund, what is your program, and then the types of water challenges and solutions and startups that you're looking for. We specialize in deep tech, or we specialize in climate, or we, whatever, right? And then how do you pitch for funding or apply, or who do you talk to? How do you get started? Is there an application page? Is there a deadline coming up? Who do they talk to? How do they get started if they want to work with you? And again, it's 3 to 4 minutes total time, so a little shorter. And some of these folks, they don't even need a full 3 minutes, but we do ask if you can create a slide, 2 slides, something that just kind of puts it out there. People are very visual in the water space, and so if you just kind of blurt it out, they probably aren't going to catch it all, right? So if we can, we can help you with that. We'll put together a quick slide for you of, who is your fund, your accelerator, etc. Then we have what we call the voice of the customer. These are people who are actually going to be hiring clients, right? And in some cases, so when we talk about the federal government, in some cases it's kind of the SBIR are more like contracts, right? Or maybe it's Water Smart at Reclamation, or some of these other ones that are really creating a contract for an innovator to create an innovation, right? So again, quick introduction, quick one-liner. We don't need to know the whole 9 yards of how many miles of pipe you have, but generally, if you're a utility, how many people do you serve? What area? Is it water? Is it water and wastewater? Whatever. And then what is the challenge you want to talk about? So try to pick one main challenge, and then, and why is it important? Why now? Why this challenge? Why is this a top priority for you? And then what kind of solutions you're seeking with the opportunities and constraints associated with that. There's new funding right now, or the funding's about to go away, or whatever, right? And then and you also want to say, what do you offer to startups? I forgot to put that on here. What do you offer to startups? We will provide you advisors. We will provide you access to our data, to our water, to our we'll pay for your pilot, right? So here you get a little more time. It's 5 minutes. Yeah, depending on how many we have, could be a little longer. By the way, we do have more spaces on our Voice of the Customer session. So if you're thinking about it, please let me know ASAP. And then after everyone has had a chance to go, then we'll do the same thing we do with the other panel. We'll bring everyone out, and then people can ask specific questions, or again, have some conversations. So why is it so hard to get a contract with a public utility, right? Okay, so whether you are, regardless of what kind of reverse pitch you are, or pitch presenter if you're watching, we will help you prepare. We have what we call virtual pitch prep and practice sessions in the weeks leading up. We're about to announce the dates for that. And then we also have, and I mentioned before, the presentation coaching on site. So you're really going to be comfortable by the time you get there. And this helps, it's a chance to test out your ideas for what you want to pitch, reverse pitch. And we understand, especially for reverse pitch presenters, chances are you don't do this, right? This is not something that is typically done. I mean, the SBIR folks are pretty good at doing it, but if you're with the utility, you probably are kind of just listening to startups and not often reverse pitching to startups, right? So, and by the way, and I mentioned already the presentation coaching. One of the reasons why we do this, it really helps with quality control and consistency, and just make sure people understand that this is not your full scale, you're actually pitching to investors and you're sharing all your financials and all this other stuff. This is a door opening presentation, right? This is I just want to give you a taste of what we're looking for. Please come see me at lunch. Please come see me at the break. Please take down my contact information and let's set up a call, right? So I want to say, finally, your WaterPitch experience begins now with our new event app. And if you've ever seen something that looks like this event app, you have used SwapCard. So this is the SwapCard platform. A lot of folks are using these days. Very easy to use, by the way. Now, so what we've decided to do this year, and this is brand new, every single pitch presenter, every single reverse pitch presenter is getting their own personal profile for you as the presenter and exhibit for your organization, right? So if you've confirmed, if you're a startup, you've already paid for this, and if you are a reverse pitch presenter, then we are paying out of the money that we're getting out from the startup. So you don't have to pay any extra for the virtual exhibits. That is very unusual, right? So check out the startup profiles now. One of the things that we've done with the startup profiles is we've asked them to fill in all of these additional fields. So it's basically, if you've ever seen one of these like one pagers from Gust or one of these things for investors that shows, what incubators they've been in and what funding rounds have they had and who are their key people and advisors and that sort of thing. All of that's already in there for each of them. And everyone has a very similar profile. We also are doing this for the reverse pitch folks, and I haven't had a chance to work with many of the reverse pitch folks. I highlighted here Xylem Innovation Labs, who just let us know that they are going to be sponsoring. We are so grateful to Xylem Innovation Labs for that support. And so you see, there's all sorts of things that they can do with and maybe have your communications team get on board. Either you can have just your regular logo, but you can also put up videos, you can put up additional images, background images, whatever. But we also put in some of these custom fields, and you'll be able to see in there, it'll say, kind of grayed out, it'll say, clients or ESOs, that's entrepreneur support organizations, or investors. What are the things that you're going to be sharing in your reverse pitch? They can already put up there so people know what to expect. So we want to really prepare people before they get there. You also get to decide on your contact information. So go ahead, if you have not yet received an email from SwapCard saying, here's your SwapCard, let me know, please. And finally, if you have any questions, you can get in touch with me personally. Hey, doesn't she look familiar, right? You can get in touch with me personally. You can send me an email. You can text me, WhatsApp me, whatever. It's all the same phone number. Or you can find out more at waterpitch.org. We're putting up new information all the time as we get it. And of course, the SwapCard will also be updated all the time. And please do come to our virtual pitch prep and practice session. It really gets a chance for people to start to get to know who else is going to be there. So by the time you actually get to pitch day, it's like, hey, it's so good to see you. I saw you online. Now we get to meet in person, right? So thank you so much for being here, and we will see you soon. Thank you for coming to WaterPitch.